The teacher didn't lower her voice when she said it, like volume was part of the lesson. "Your boy's a coward," she told me over the phone. "He can't even throw a punch. He needs to toughen up." I thanked her for calling. Old habit. Courtesy under pressure. When I hung up, I sat at the kitchen table longer than necessary, staring at a knot in the wood like it might explain something. My son came home late that afternoon. He moved carefully, backpack slung over one shoulder instead of both. When he bent to take off his shoes, his shirt lifted and the bruises showed themselves. Finger-shaped, purple fading to green. Not dramatic, almost polite, the kind of damage meant to be survived quietly. He didn't cry, didn't ask me to do anything. Just said, "They said it was just messing around." 5 seniors. I learned that much without pressing. Names came later, reluctantly, like he was worried about what information might turn me into. For 18 years, I'd been trained to end problems efficiently. Distance, precision, finality. I'd left that life on purpose, or thought I had. Standing in my own kitchen, looking at my kids' ribs, I felt the old instincts stretch awake like dogs that hadn't been fed in years. That scared me more than the bruises. I didn't go to the school the next morning. I went to football practice that afternoon. The field was loud with whistles and music, ritual and repetition. Strength rehearsed in public. I stood at the fence, hands in my pockets, invisible in the way older men often are when they're not wearing authority on their sleeves. The head coach noticed me eventually. He had the kind of confidence that comes from winning seasons and unchecked loyalty. "What are you gonna do, old man?" He laughed when I introduced myself and mentioned my son. "This is football. Boys get hit." I smiled. Not because it was funny, because the moment told me exactly what kind of room I was in. I didn't argue. I asked about supervision ratios, about injury protocols, about how many trainers were present on game days versus practices. I took notes on my phone like a parent trying to be involved. He waved me off, already done with me. That night, I made a different set of calls. Not to threaten, to document, to ask questions people assume you won't ask unless you're looking for a fight. By Friday, the school district was watching. The game was packed. Parents in team colors, pride thick as humidity. I sat high in the stands next to my son. He didn't lean on me, just sat close enough that our shoulders touched. By the 4th quarter, the tempo changed. One player went down hard, not from a hit but from fatigue and bad conditioning. Then another. Then another. Medical staff moved faster than the crowd could process. Stretchers, radios, protocols activated like switches that had been ignored for too long. Ambulances came because they were required to, because the eyes on the field were no longer just local. The game ended without celebration. 5 seniors didn't finish it. No one looked at me. That was fine. On Monday, practices were suspended. Eligibility reviews opened. Suddenly, strength wasn't measured in touchdowns but in compliance, documentation, accountability. The boys who jumped my son didn't get hurt because of me. They got exposed because the system they'd been protected by finally had to look at itself. At home, my son asked one question. "Did you do this?" I said, "I made sure someone listened." That night, the doorbell rang. 5 fathers stood on my porch, anger thick and misdirected. They wanted explanations, someone to push against. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't invite them in. I told them what had happened, what was documented, what was already in motion. I told them their sons would be okay physically, and that some lessons don't leave bruises. They left without shouting. Not satisfied, but quieter. Later, after the house settled, my son sat at the table doing homework. He paused, then said, "I'm still not going to fight them." I nodded. Good. Strength, I'd learned too late, isn't about hitting back. It's about choosing where force ends, and refusing to pass it on when you finally have the power to do so. The cycle didn't shatter that week, but it cracked. And for now, that was enough.